That car is the car that I drove. That is the car that we drove with Haley Atwell in there. I can't believe that it's at the bottom of these steps. We were doing donuts and the tires were on fire, smoking, not on fire, they were smoking. It's really amazing to be here. It took a lot to be able to film here during that time period. Amazing what the country did, what Rome did, what Venice did, and to be able to finally be here at this moment where we're sharing it with everyone it's quite a privilege. It's quite a privilege. Look, this is a city of cinema. You know, I mean, the films that I grew up with, watching, you know, of Italian cinema, and to be able to take these cars and create action and develop character. You know, the character of Haley Atwell, Grace, really inspired the tone that we are allowed to have through Rome. And I've always wanted to film in Venice, and McHugh and I had talked about it for many, many years. So to be able to go from Rome to Venice, you know, you'll see it. And they're both different tones and represent a different emotional aspect of this picture. There's plenty of excitement, plenty of action, and very vivid characters, and a global cinema experience for audiences that really need to be seen on the big screen. You know, I know there's other ways to see it, but this film was really made from top to bottom, from every single location, from the characters, from the scale of the film, the mix that we have, the music in the film. It is an immersive experience for an audience.
Oh my God, it was a dream come true. It was one of my dreams to be part of Mission Impossible. And actually I started training, learning martial arts and fight training and stunts years ago with a martial artist called Jason Noviello. And I would even write in my schedule, in my phone, sometimes I would write Mission Impossible instead of training to kind of like manifesting. And here we are. I saw the first movie when I think I was maybe 11 in French. I saw it on a tiny TV that was barely working. It was black and white, but I loved it. I was blown away by the action and by the story, and yeah. There is the biggest stunt in movie history, so that's pretty incredible. And the movie by itself, it's not even the biggest thing in the movie. Everything is incredible. I saw the movie 2 days ago. I was just blown away. For a few minutes after I watched the movie, I couldn't even talk. I was just processing the movie. I can't wait to watch it again with an audience.
So many good and intense memories of filming here in Rome. We have this yellow car behind us, which we nicknamed Trixie because she had a mind of her own. And so to spend 5 months learning how to drift with Trixie whilst both Tom and I were handcuffed to each other meant that by the time we got out to Rome, we had a good chance that we weren't going to harm the city, the streets, the fountains, the stairs, other people. And so the fact that we've come back here with the city intact and also thriving is such, it feels bittersweet. It has been relentless and intense in the most life-affirming way. It's both McHugh and Tom have this symbiotic relationship whereby they are bouncing ideas off each other all the time. So you can walk onto set on any given day and a script change will happen, or they'll throw out a new bit of dialogue, and they're encouraging you to come, as the actor, to come up with ideas. And so it's very much a collaborative back and forth process. And I knew going into it that if I surrendered to that process, then I was going to have the most extraordinary ride and surprise myself with what I could do. I think what amazes me about him is his dedication to always try something else, try something new, get better. As soon as one film is over, he's like, okay, yeah, great, I'm pleased that worked out, I'm glad it was all for the audience, great, and he's moved on to the next thing. He's very good at letting it go so he can actually focus on, okay, what is the thing that I don't know how to do, that I think would be impossible for me to do? How would I go about with all the steps in place to make sure that I can find a way to fulfill that ambition? And I think it's his attitude more than anything else that I'm most impressed about, as in his consistency to always develop. From genre to tone, to the characters' arcs, to the visual spectacle of it. It's a film that we haven't seen anything of this nature ever before. It pushes the envelope technologically. Everything, we're doing in this movie is all for the sake of delighting the audience. And I think it will delight, it will excite. You'll wake up the next morning with an emotional hangover from it. Make sure you sleep well and you're hydrated.
mean, it's the scale, I think. In the first movie I was doing, I just wrapped the first season of The Crown. And it had epic scale, of course, because of the royal family and the palaces and the sets, but it was still kind of, you know, a small English theatre contingent. And then I stepped off that set, flew to Paris, landed and was straight in with Tom. And this huge movie set with so many crew and stunts, and I was doing my first stunt, and it was overwhelming at that time, but such an amazing initiation into filmmaking. And when you're around someone like Tom, who's such a cinephile and who loves what he does so much, it is life-changing, really. Oh, because they believe in that's what, you know, filmmaking is, and I think they want to take the audience on an adventure. And when you have that in mind, you have to go, okay, it's not just for us, it's for everybody. So how can we make people feel immersed in almost as if they're on that motorbike, almost as if they're jumping off that cliff themselves, and then you feel it with them rather than sort of watching someone do something impressive, and I think that's the power. On Fawler, I did 6 months of training, and you're required to do that to kind of go on the mission initiation of training, because you have to have a relationship with your body so that, you know, Tom is the best runner in the world, for example, and so suddenly if you're asked to run next to him, which I was in the first Fawler, you can't be flagging behind like I was at sports day at school, you know, you have to really step up and be ready. So that's, the physicality of it is also a very beautiful gift, because you kind of have to learn about your physicality, and that's something that I didn't have before. It's not an action movie to me. It's got drama, it's comedy, it's a thriller, it's kind of sci-fi. It's kind of, I said to Tom after, it's almost like a genre of its own, you know? And that's such a beautiful, radical thing to do with a film that traditionally is seen as, oh, it's just an action movie, but it's so not. I know that anybody that watches that will feel that, and that's really exciting. At the beginning it did, but now I'm so used to him going beyond what I could ever imagine, I stop even imagining what he might be doing. And then you see him do it, and it always goes further than you imagine, so it's kind of best not to even think about it and just to watch him in awe.
Wow, I love working with Tom and McCoy. That's the first thing. Like their work ethic and how smart they are, and taking care of everyone is something that you don't find everywhere. So I feel blessed that I'm working with them. Well, they're the best at what they do. They know that, like, McCoy is a genius, and also Tom, and their complicity together makes these things happen. And for me, this is the best franchising ever, and they're making it wonderful. All the extreme scenes of stunt scenes, the scene in the steps is spectacular. It's spectacular. The scene in Venice, it makes me dream about it at night. The scene in Venice. And also, you know, this is an action movie, like packed of action and stunts, but it's also a movie that carries the emotion of the characters and the arc. So they really take care of every character in the movie, and that's very important for the audience to recognize themselves in some of them. Whenever you think he's in the up top there in the mountain, he goes further. So yeah, it surprises me, but I think it's nothing impossible for him.
Birthday, another birthday right there. Thank you. How are you? A little bit. Sorry, guys. Thank you all for coming out. This is beautiful. This is absolutely magical to share this with you all in these epic steps, and it's a historical moment. Thank you. I'm just constantly looking to increase my ability as a storyteller, and what kind of skills can I improve to entertain the audience. So, but it's all about how do I engage the audience. It's the story underneath and the character.
Thank you so much. You're amazing. Thank you.
Look how beautiful that looks down there.
Technician gets to the silver screen. Carolina is up at the end. Ladies and gentlemen, the star and producer of Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1, Ethan Hunt himself, it's Tom Cruise!
Welcome, Greg Darson Davies. Harry checking with me. Hi, hello, how are you? Back on the stage.
Right here, right here.
This is, I think, a pinnacle. The franchise is one of the top, if not the top, action franchise, movie franchise. To be involved in such a, significant role as the main villain is a highlight, if not the highlight of my career. And it just makes me feel like I did the right thing by taking a chance on this career. Whereas a kid from the Bronx, with my background, there weren't many opportunities. So to be here, to be working with one of the greatest movie stars, if not, I don't know who else has done what he's done for 4 decades. It has been not only an honor, but a real learning experience. And I hope to get a chance to do it more or again in my life. They're going to be surprised at how a story can be twisted again and again. How many surprises, how shocking it can be, and how funny. There's so many moments in there that I unexpected humor, but good humor. Like, I was a fan of the series as a child, a couple of years ago. But it's amazing what Tom has done. Tom Cruise, in case you don't realize. What he's done when you watch the first one and see how he's evolved, how much more refined and lethal and just purposeful his work is.
I grew up watching the TV series, and then I watched every single one of the franchise with my wife. So I was a fan to begin with. So when I got the call from Tom and McHugh, I was like, you had me at hello, you know? We did Days of Thunder all those years ago, and Tom is he's an incredible human being. He's a wonderful guy, as you know, incredible actor, insane stuntman. But his stunts, he doesn't just, he trains for a long time for each one. The method that he takes to perfect each and every stunt, sometimes over a period of a year. I mean, he's like a perfectionist. And I don't know how many jumps he did, something like in the tens of thousands to prepare for this big jump that he does in the film. I mean, it's unbelievable. The guy's unbelievable. And he's a wonderful producer to boot, so yeah, he's an extraordinary guy. This is going to be tough to top. It's the biggest action movie of all time. It really is. And I'm so thrilled to be a part. I'm excited for the fans. They have no idea what they're in for. I mean, this stunt alone is going to blow their minds. You see this Fiat right behind me? This is the stunt that Tom and Haley do down these steps. This is why we're doing the premiere here. It's nail-biting stuff. I mean, I watched it with an audience, and there was a guy next to me. He left an imprint on the armrest. That's how nervous he was. It was insane. Tom is always raising the bar. That's the thing about Tom. He's not satisfied with, okay, that'll do, or all right. That's just not in his lexicon. It has to be brilliant. It has to be huge. It has to be massive. Because he's always thinking about his fans. He doesn't want to let them down. So he's constantly pushing himself